Hi everybody, my name is Brian Scott Koss. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you today. And the reason why I'm making this video is because the flyer or the post on social media or the video that you're watching or wherever you find this video or the information that I'm going to be displaying is all about my voice. Last August I was in a sales environment. I've been working for a company called VetCom since May. Been doing extremely well, helping a lot of veterans get their disability benefits, and talking about 15 to 20 veterans a day. When all of a sudden my voice in August started to cut in the afternoons. When I say cut, I mean that I wasn't able to express myself in different tones, in different ways to be able to express myself and help people the way that I normally can by using my voice, because it was all phone sales. And here's what happened. I left the company in September. I had to because I was no longer effective. I was at one time their #1 salesman and doing extremely well. I don't want to get into numbers. That's hardly the point of this message. The point is that I needed to find out what was wrong with my voice and what was happening, because I was scared. And so what I did was I eventually was referred to an ENT, ear, nose, throat specialist at UCSD in La Jolla. I was blessed because this is one of the best. And what they do is they put a thing up your nose that goes down, looks at your throat on video, big widescreen TV, and we saw what was the beginning of a tumor. And that tumor was coated in white, and he gave me some medicine to see if maybe that would alleviate it. And I was coming back to another appointment 2 weeks later. I got there late because of traffic, and he couldn't see me. So he was going on vacation for 6 weeks, so my next appointment was January 15th. Christmas time. I'm in a lot of pain. I don't know what to do, so I go to the emergency room at UCSD in La Jolla. After about 3 hours, the woman comes back after the first thing they did was look. And she comes back and she says to me, "Brian, I want to tell you something." She says, "Don't miss your January 15th appointment no matter what." Let me say this to you a second time. Don't miss your appointment on January 15th for anything. Do you understand me? And I say yes, and now I'm really freaked out, right? So I go and I make it to my January 15th appointment. I'm there early, and I meet a gentleman there named Gary. We're the only two guys in the waiting room, and Gary is an older gentleman. All Gary can do now is whisper. He let his throat go. You know, he thought it was just a sore throat. He thought it was just, what do you call it? It was just hoarse. His tumor had grown to a point where the cancer began. He was in stage 2 cancer. When my doctor on January 15th, because I saw the same doctor right after him, and I saw my tumor had grown to the point that it had taken over my whole vocal cord. And if you want to know what vocal cords look like, just look at the flyer, look on your screen right here where this video is, and you'll see it's basically if you were to take an avocado, cut it in half, and you would see the two sides of the avocado. That's your left and right vocal cord. And I'll tell you what, he scheduled emergency surgery for me right away on January 15th. That turned into a CT scan. That turned into a visit to my personal doctor to give me a checkup. The anesthesiologist, they really cover themselves in case something happens in the operation. That led to a cardiologist. That led to a nuclear stress test. It led to a ultrasound of my heart, just to clear me of anything. I was finally cleared February 11th. The scheduled surgery was February 27th. And they cut the tumor out. The whole thing with a laser robotic technique. Amazing. But at that point, I was hardly able to talk. And he wanted to do a biopsy early on in late January. But Gary had told me from his experience, don't do a biopsy, because his biopsy, not only did it cause him immense pain that he had not had before, but this biopsy also did something more, made him go to stage 3. And so I told my doctor no biopsy when he called me into the office. I said, there's no way. He goes, come on, Brian, I know what I'm doing. I said, Gary told me no biopsy and everything I've read online. He goes, you know Gary? I said, yeah, man, I met him in your waiting room, and we're buddies now. I've been over to his house. We're friends. And, you know, the saddest thing is, you know, Gary had to have one of those pipes in his throat. And that was a pinhole size now. But all he can do is whisper, and whispering isn't going to cut it, right? And you don't want to go to that stage. You don't want to go to anywhere. So my advice is, if you've got anything going on with your voice or throat where you're getting hoarse all the time, you got to get in, got to get it checked out as early as possible. And I was lucky enough to get mine checked as early as possible. So these are all the things, even the healing process. What I did when I heard emergency surgery is I cut my weight. I got in the gym. I started working out like crazy, doing a lot of cardio, and I went juice crazy. Fresh juices all day, every day, all along. And so by the time he checked out my throat the day that I went, which was about 3 weeks after the 15th, and I said, no biopsy. He said, well, let me take a look. He goes, oh my God, it's looking better. And I was like, I'm going to keep going, you know, keep pounding that juice. By the time of the operation, I'd lost close to 25 pounds. I was in great shape. I was ready for an operation. And so when I was healing after February 27th, he had put filler in, because, I mean, realistically, that tumor it was my vocal cord now, and I could hardly talk. So when that filler, I could talk pretty good actually after the operation, after waiting 3 days of no talking. But when that filler dissolved, so did my voice. And so I worked. I was driving Lyft. I was, you know, still taking care of myself, still working out like crazy. But, you know, my voice, I was pushing to be able to express myself. And it got better and better and better until finally my second appointment, where we took a look at my voice, which was mid-May. I was completely healed. And you'll see that in the pictures that you see. Now I'm working with a speech pathologist. She says, Brian, talk louder, your voice will be better. You've got to push yourself. And so these are the things that I'm doing now, is I'm practicing my voice, and I'm healed. I want to help you. If you're going through anything like I've just described, with your voice, with your throat, get in ASAP, because referrals, you know, it takes a while to get in. It takes a while to get checked out. So you still have that time frame to go through. So my name is Brian. It's my pleasure to meet you. And it's my pleasure to help you if I can. And that's really what this message is all about. I want to take my experience, because I had to do this all alone. I didn't have anybody, you know, supporting me except for Gary. Thank God I met him at the waiting room. But I want to help you. So thank you very much for your time. And I hope to hear from you with any question whatsoever. You know, I can point you in a direction. If I don't know the answer, we'll ask ChatGPT, and we'll have AI help us to solve your, or to get you to the next stage anyways. So you have yourself a wonderful day. My name is Brian Scott Koss, and I have a voice thanks to modern technology. And thank you very much. Bye for now.